Rob. Do live news commentary. We comment on the news. I call it newsmentary. Every single weekday, sometimes on the weekends. There was some interesting stuff I was reading in the news. I don't know if you've seen Dean Cain. You might remember him from, was it the 90s? It had to be the 90s. I feel like 1993. He played Superman. Um, what was it? The Adventures of Lois and Clark. I believe that's the Superman he played. But Dean Cain has not been heard from in a long while. And then this year, bada bing, bada boom, Dean Cain's back in the news again. Old D. Cain commented on the new Superman, which I have not seen. If you've seen, let me know what you thought. I do like James Gunn. I think he helped write, direct, whatever. Had some vision for it. But Dean Cain said the new Superman is woke, which is hilarious, and we'll play a clip to why Dean Cain's comments are just grifting to the people that want to hear trigger words. But Dean Cain joined ICE as like a volunteer. Worst human ever. And then thank the good Lord we have some decent people out there in the world with a platform and a microphone. John Leguizamo, you might remember him from Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Romeo and Juliet, or better known by the kids as Sid from Ice Age. He's amazing, and he made a little video for Dean, which we'll play as well. And then there's some other stuff in the news. What else is in the news? They got money for prisons, but don't want to help the homeless or the hungry here in America. Money for prisons. This is going to be one of the most expensive prisons. Oh, no, wait, that's a money trail. Whoops, wrong story. This is going to be, no, that's another story. Where is it down below? I swore I took a picture of it. It's probably way back in the front. Let me just pull it up. My good God, people. My good God. What was this? Oh, yeah. What do they call it? Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss Prison. Largest U.S. detention center. This isn't, it's under a $1.26 billion contract. So we'll make mention of this. We're going to talk about some South Park. Wait, are they relevant again? And it's incredible. You know you don't have a very serious government when they start using South Park memes to promote their Gestapo tactics. Unmag, hello. I'm coming to the live stream. How are you, brother? You live stream. Like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Rob. I go live every single weekday, and sometimes we go live on the weekends. I wanted to talk about this dude. If you couldn't put a face to the name, there's Dean Cain. And this dude, we're going to wait a couple minutes before I play his audio. But my God, some of these people, you just wonder, are they so comfortable in life that their only thrills now are the suffering of others? Because it's like, what would make him voluntarily make a video to say like, I'm a sworn deputy? This guy is like the new Steven Seagal. He's still got some work to do to top the douchiness of Seagal. But this dude, we're going to talk about him. Okay, join done later. Nam Pamelelo Nsomo. Hello, good to see you. And welcome. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We do news commentary here. Newsmentary. And we'll start with the baseline. If you're into other people's suffering, if that's how you judge how great your country's doing, this isn't the place for you. You might need a safe space. If you're into people working multiple jobs, 2-3 jobs, aka grind culture, and bragging about that your kids never see you, your family doesn't see you, you're single for a reason, all you do is work, you might need a safe space from this live stream. But if you're into working one job, being able to purchase a home, having no medical debt, no student debt, not ever considering using an Uber instead of an ambulance to go to the hospital, uh, and that one job gives you multiple weeks of vacation a year, paid time off, and you don't ever have to earn your sick time. If you're envisioning that kind of country, then you want to hit subscribe. If not, that's fine. There's a lot of people where I say, I don't care if you flip burgers or flip stocks. Minimum wage should be the wage of a decent living with recreation, good health, and higher education if you'd like. And it shouldn't bankrupt you, and you shouldn't struggle to survive, as FDR said. Lizard King, I don't want any job, I want wealth. Yeah, and that's fine too. Everybody's fine to pursue their own thing, but, you know, to consider yourself a great country, I would say, you know, the baseline has to be people aren't struggling to put food on the table. AWACS, is this a commie-friendly channel? Well, this is a freedom-loving, leftist, Marxist, socialist, woke mob channel. You know how Republicans come to be like these macho, tough guys that don't get offended by words, and they like to make fun of people's pronouns? Well, here, we really don't get offended by words. In fact, we push for freedoms, like the freedom to be what you want, use what bathroom you want, marry who you want, love who you want, read what books you want. That one really bugs me. People for freedom and against books. And we're for a minimum wage where I don't care if you flip burgers. You should be able to buy a home on that flipping burger salary. The old nobody wants to work anymore. It's amazing. If you started paying minimum wage workers $66 an hour, which the minimum wage should be, guess what? Everybody would be going for those minimum wage jobs. And then in return, just so you know how this works, your job would have to raise its rates, okay? And before you start talking about, oh, then you're gonna pay $10 for a Big Mac. Big Macs have already gotten way expensive over the past 5 years. And guess what? The minimum wages have not risen. Federally, they're still $7.25. So now that we've settled that, and you know the baseline, either hit subscribe or keep on scrolling. And I'm fine with it. Some people are just into fascism, you know? They're like, I need the structure. I need that kind of structure in my life. There's a lot of MAGAs, you know, who are still defending, hold on, where is it? Here. There's a lot of MAGAs that are like, this is okay. You know, he's not going to release the files, but he'll release the PDF files. There's people like that, and that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but what I'm saying is it's okay for you not to watch my live stream. Go to like Tim Pool, Glenn Beck, Charlie Kirk, one of those maroons who are paid by the billionaires to, you know, make you think that once the immigrants disappear, then the CEOs will pay you more. I don't know who Carlos is, but if he's in prison for something that shouldn't be. Oh, you know what? Before we get into the South Park and Dean Cain and John Leguizamo, I'll show you some leftist cartoons so you can get a better understanding of what leftists think of politics. I encourage people to not be a Republican or a Democrat because neither of them like or care about you. They work for their top donors, which is not you, by the way. Here's some. I hate seeing this one. You see it every 4 years. I gotta vote for the lesser of two evils. Shut up. Revolt against the system. The Dems, not the same thing. You're in much deeper. They're both corrupt criminals. That's a funny one. You can pause it later and read. And then the Copen Democrats, codependent Democrats. And then here's what it is, mean-spirited and incompetent. So please, folks, you know, here's another meme that shows you. Two Greens did the same thing, but only one was punished. That's because the GOP, the guardians of the PDF files, they are the most fragile people on earth. You know, when this happens, they're like, yeah, whatever, shut up, loudmouth, horse-legged woman. When this happens, they're like, we need to make an example of him. He cannot upset our king. Well, watch out, folks. There's a Trumpito coming in. Is that a torpedo? Like a torpedo? What does that mean? Anybody know? Trumpito? Well, let's talk about ICE. ASAP mimic. She stopped though. He didn't. Oh, you're the one who's like, when it was segregated here in America, you're the one who goes, if you just, when they told you to stop drinking from the White's fountain, if you had just stopped then, they wouldn't release the dogs and spray with fire hoses. Right. Okay. That's the kind of logic we need. When a fascist tells you to stop, you don't listen. Trump riding the Lolita Express. Yeah, many times. ASAP mimic. I love when you do the segregation. Ah, yes, a Democrat concept. Again, that's why I encourage people to understand that the Democrats and the Republicans, take off the hat, take off the boxes, take off the blinders, folks. None of them work for you. They work to divide the people. So now that we got that done, Jesus Rivera. I hate when people ask this. They go, why didn't the Democrats put out the list? My answer encompasses all. They don't work for us. They protect their elite friends. They also didn't promise to release the list like Donald Trump did. But it's good that you're still asking that because it just shows, sometimes people tell you who they are. They might not say it directly, but when they tell you, believe them. Some people are like, peacocks showing off that plumage of stupidity. Darren. Oh, God, Christ. I love when people are like, what is fascism? You don't know. Listen, if you just need me to look it up and read you the definition, this isn't the place for you. You're a moron, okay? So, let's talk about, I should have screenshotted a photo of it. I want to play you some audio. This is Aged Ice. Found this on Reddit. Funny as hell. Dean Cain announcing something. By the way, hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell after subscribe. You'll get alerted when I go live every single weekday. Sometimes I'm here on the weekends. And hit that like button. And for all the fragile Trumpito worshipers, DJT. Those are his initials, and I finally figured out what DJT stands for. It's Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Trump. So if you are one of those fragile men who cannot stand any dissent, you can keep scrolling. Go on, get out of here. This is not a Trump-friendly channel. We ain't for any of it, okay? We're dissent. Remember when you guys used to say, not my president, and thought that was tough? Well, now I'm saying it, and you should love that, right? Not my president. Remember when you guys used to say, F your feelings? Well, F your feelings. Peace. Oh, I see CJ's here. Good to see you, CJ. Brandon D. Reddit is bad for you. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know what you're using it for, Brandon D. But to get memes, Reddit is funny. Reddit's got some funny. All right, let's listen to the news. Dean Cain dropped this gem of a post. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I just want to get his announcement.
Hey, everybody. Dean Cain here. And for those who don't know, I am a sworn law enforcement officer, as well as being a filmmaker. I felt it was important to join with our first responders to help secure the safety of all.
Number one, ICE is not a first responder. They're like, I don't even know what you would call them, stalkers? Waiting outside of Home Depot isn't a first response to anything. In fact, they're like a reactionary squad to whatever Donald Trump says. So, moron. But go ahead, Dean.
Americans, not just talk about it. So I joined up. And here's your opportunity.
So he's basically saying, hold on, because...
to join ICE.
There it is. To join ICE. I bet he feels cool. I bet he feels swole in his mask where they don't show their face, because usually when you're not showing your face, you're very proud to be doing something. So that was Dean Cain's message. Sorry, I wasn't reading the. Logan Reed, did you see Trump bend over for Putin yesterday? No, I didn't. I gotta look that up. Anybody could be an ICE agent. There's no qualification. It's funny you mentioned that because no experience, just show up. This is South Park's account, but what happened was the actual government started using South Park stuff to promote their thing. This is when you know, like, we're in the downfall, the decline of a fascist regime. When they're like, yeah, let's just use the South Park stuff to promote it. It's like, did you guys not see the episode? This is Homeland Security's actual Twitter account. I love South Park. Wait, so are we relevant? Because Donald Trump, once they critiqued him, fragile man has to respond to everything. He is so fragile, he cannot let anyone say anything about him without chirping back. And he said, those guys aren't relevant. And they said, well, if you're using us, raid, this is, I think, when they went to raid, spoiler alert, hopefully you've seen it, but when they go to raid the Dora the Explorer event, this one, that's the photo. I believe they're on their way to Dora the Explorer live in concert to raid it. And South Park says, wait, so are we relevant? This is absolutely hilarious. Or in case you're new here, I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I created a word, sad-larious. And this explains sad-larious. It's sad that our government is doing in the most heinous way. Like, they're highlighting the stuff South Park was critiquing about them being soulless humans, void of any kind of empathy or compassion. And they are highlighting it as like, hey, do you want a cool job where you can go raid Dora the Explorer events if Home Depot's parking lot is empty? So that would be a good definition for sad hilarious. It's sad, but it's also hilarious. Guys, if you're too stupid to know what fascist is, I've seen somebody else looked up fascist. I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't be on YouTube. You should be reading books. ICE is eating the pets, Gus. Right. So, anyways, so Dean Cain makes that announcement that he volunteered to ICE, because the world was waiting for him to. Old Superman, 90s Superman, and thank goodness there's people like South Park, John Leguizamo, Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. You may know him from Tu Wong Fu, Romeo and Juliet. I think he was in Spawn. Yeah, he's had amazing roles. Spun, my favorite movie of John is in Spun. He's so good in that. And John Leguizamo uses his platform to reply and put these people on blast. This is John's response to Dean Cain's volunteer ICE message.
What kind of loser volunteers to be an ICE officer? What a moron. Dean Cain, your pronouns are has been.
I love John. John Leguizamo, Sid the Sloth. What is this, Sunflower? This is a live stream. We're talking about news. We joke about the news because the news is a joke, literally. Department of Homeland Security, which was created a couple decades ago, is using South Park, making fun of them to promote a government website. Minnesota Sunshine? Are you a Democrat? No. Not a Democrat or a Republican. Americans. Are there people outside America in the chat? Let me know down below. But I know there's a lot of Americans that join the chat. I'm pleading with you to stop treating politics like it's the Super Bowl, like it's Team Red versus Team Blue. Because that ain't it, folks. I hate to be the one to no, I love to be the one to break this to you. The red and blue are wings of the same bird. They work for their elite corporate billionaire masters, their owners. They don't work for you and I. They get our votes. Donald Trump was the one to even say it. He said, I don't even like you. I just need your votes. So I implore people to stop thinking that Democrats or Republicans are going to get us out of this mess. And I make the point by right now, everything's red. And you see how things are going. Inflation's up. Businesses, we just talked about it yesterday, businesses are shutting down because of tariffs. God damn, I'm so sad still. Barabee, if you ever got a Barabee weighted blanket, they just announced the CEO yesterday sent out emails saying they're closing their doors because of the tariffs. Diamond Select, which makes the Muppets little action figures, they closed their doors. So that's what you get with the Republicans. They had $5 trillion to the debt. They protect the. Hold on, let me pull it up. Oh, this is what you get with Republicans. Okay, they can build a $1.2 billion prison, but they're not going to help the homeless or kids get free lunch. This is what you get from Republicans. Okay, this wouldn't be a debate, but we have somehow, the Republicans are convincing people like it's okay that they're not releasing the files, but they're releasing the PDF files. So this is what you get with the government filled with all red. And what I try to implore for people to understand is that this, for the Democrats, this is not okay either. Because if we elected Democrats all blue up and down the board, do you honestly think in your heart of hearts, down in the cockles of your heart, do you believe that we would get universal basic health care? Overwhelmingly, Americans want that. Like, that's not even up for debate. If I said your taxes could pay for your health care, we could get rid of health CEOs. Maybe one of the trolls on here would be like, no, I'm fine with paying co-pays and have my insurance company deny what my doctor says. Like, maybe a few of you might say that, but not even in real life. If you got offered it, you wouldn't act like that. You only say words because they're cheap. And I just want people to consider, if you have elected all blue, do you think that they're going to implement the people's will, universal basic health care? They're not. They're not going to. Why? Because the corporate CEOs from Big Pharma pay them. This is very simple, folks. It's weird to me that people will think there's some deep state Illuminati swamp draining thing that needs to happen, but not realize that all that exists and they're doing it brazenly in front of your eyes. So, no, not a Democrat. Andy Pride, buy American, simple as that. Yep, simpleness for the simple-minded. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat. I'm trying to get to the chat. I'm prior military, and I get free healthcare in the USA, which everybody should. You shouldn't have to serve to get it, but I'm glad. I do have family that works for the VA, and I've heard some horror stories about what's going on with the VA. And if you care about veterans, you would hate this administration for them locking up parents of veterans. Cash Money Patel, who's in charge of the FBI, he just fired a veteran of the FBI who is a former Marine days after his wife passed away. These people are soulless, scumless. They have an agenda, and that's all they stick to. That's all they care. Yes, VA healthcare is government healthcare. Yes. Wait, what is Jesus saying in the chat? Or Jesus? Lisa Uncensored. Just because you've never been denied doesn't mean people haven't. And that's the other thing. I didn't see that comment. I'd like to read it. Where the heck is it? Lisa Uncensored. Here we go. These people think they're so brilliant are nauseating. My insurance has never denied me anything. Ah, Lisa. Thank you for the comment. Thank you. Because I'd like to make examples out of this. So what you're saying in your comment is because it hasn't happened to me, fuck you. We've had people in the chat that have explained that their grandmother lost their house because their grandfather's medical debt. I've personally known people who have taken on medical debt. I've known people who have, what's it called? Insulin. There we go. That have been in life or death circumstances because they can't afford insulin. But Lisa, Uncensored, maybe you should start censoring yourself because you've shown off how stupid you are, or just how selfish and narcissistic your take on America is. It's not about you, Lisa. Again, to the people who say, well, I'm fine, so I don't care, you're selfish and you're part of the problem, but it's okay. I'm also your official vibe coach. I made this up last week. Back in the late 2000s, these 20-something-year-old girls on MySpace who were calling themselves life coaches, which I thought was a joke. At 20-something, you can't be a life coach. So I said, I'm going to be a vibe coach. Lisa, this is my free vibe coach session with you. I should make a calendar, because a lot of these Republicans and these selfish assholes, the ass hattery, really needs a vibe coach. Because, you know, when you say stuff like that, Lisa, you're putting on full display how you are lacking any kind of awareness, number one. Medical debt is a uniquely American thing. So if you live in America, like, you just not be paying attention. But number two, the fact that you just don't care because it hasn't happened to you is how, you know, a lot of America's going right now. We need to educate people. Like, that's not okay. Because if and when it does happen to you, you're going to turn around and look like a maroon, because you're going to go, oh, this is what they were talking about. You'll probably come off in some ruthless style, but SDC, how dare people make a profit from sick and disabled citizens? Well, if you're a sub to the channel, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll see that earlier this week we talked about United Healthcare, the largest insurer in America, is going to be kicking, I think it was 600,000 people off of their insurance because healthcare costs are rising. And they have profit margins to keep up. Not profits, the profit margins. Profit margins are what they pay for the costs and the profits above that. So what they're making after they've paid for it. And those have skyrocketed lately, and that shouldn't exist. Remember what healthcare is, folks. It's science and a collaborative effort of all humans for eons coming together to make us healthier, since the first dinosaur pushed a rock onto a guy's foot and he went, oh, and then somebody put some moss on it to cool it down, till today. That shouldn't be owned and for profit just by a select few who happen to be CEOs. That is an old and antiquated thought, but people still think it. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to do a live stream to educate you and teach you while we're entertaining you, because I am your vibe coach. Pat OD'd. Sometimes I bet some people say, I wish you would. You know nothing about economics, my guy, and neither do you, Pat. Economics is all made up, and it's usually made up by rich people to make you say stuff like that. But go ahead. Okay, these are going too fast. All religious establishments that take money need to be taxed. 100%, Kate. Jesus paid his taxes. We talked about the other day. As someone who owns a medical practice, we only take traditional Medicare because the Medicare Advantage plans play games with one another different than the games that make us jump through hoops. Well, listen, that's the other thing. I'm friends with a few different doctors, and hearing their horror stories about just trying to get paid, this system is so, it works for no one besides the insurance companies. I mean, when you have CEOs admitting that they're using AI instead of humans to deny people things that doctors said they need, you would hope that people would come together and be like, we don't accept this, you know, we reject this, and we choose differently, because we can. All we got to do is come together, folks. There's more of us than there are of them. That's why they're called the 1%. Free Luigi. Free Luigi. Okay, so I played John Leguizamo's thing for you. We're gonna get into some South Park stuff. Did everybody see South Park? Everybody see South Park? Anybody? A little bit. You're wrong. Luigi is innocent till proven guilty, number one. Luigi, when you say he should rot, I wonder if you're just in here as like a pharmaceutical bootlicking hack, or someone that just stumps for the CEOs to really profit off of the illnesses that Americans have. But you're also anti-American because, as we all know, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. So free Luigi. Kelly Quinn, give more power to the insurance companies like they don't have the oligarchs. Could not continue to run the show. Yeah. Did he little bit? Nothing's been proven. So we say free Luigi. But that United Healthcare CEO was an absolute piece of garbage. I'm guessing little bit's a guy that, like, if you were pretending, if you were playing the game where you're like, if you had a time machine, what would you do? And when someone's like, I'd go back and, stop Hitler, little bit would be like, he's a human. So love your mentality. Love where you're thinking. Love South Park. Fully support their message through satire. Listen, if you're a fan of Bo Burnham and he did that song "Saving the World Through Comedy," I'm like, we're unfortunately there, folks. I'm hoping Bo Burnham, Mr. Bobby Bo Burnham, says something. Because right now we got South Park, John Leguizamo, Bill Burr, and who else? Like, standing up against these petty tyrants. And then you have like the hacks, the Joe Rogans and the Andrew Schultzes who are, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Holy shnikes. Donald Trump. Oh, wait. Oh, here was the thing. By the way, do you guys see this 50,000 signing bonus and student loan repayment? I'm going to go out on a branch here, okay? And just say that this guy's not known for telling the truth. I wonder if anybody signed up and got it. I mean, I've got my Doge rebate check. Did you guys already get your Doge rebate check? But I mean, who knows if this is actually real or not. Hold on. Oh, did you see this? The guy who, what's his name? Acton Bowen, who Donald Trump sent another best wishes to, he was locked up for heinous stuff. Where is South Park is only how many seasons in? Where's the other news story I want to talk about? Did I not take pictures of it? I wanted to talk about IVF and how the Trump administration, remember when Donald Trump called himself the father of IVF and he wanted it free for everyone? Well, they've admitted, this Trump regime, DJT, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend Trump, this regime admitted that they're not even going to do anything about free IVF. That was another lie. Like they just used that to get your votes. And I have the link down below, but again, it's a Salon article titled "Trump Drops IVF Promise, Preferring to Blame Women for Infertility." Classy. Where do they say it? He called himself the father of IVF. And then they say this week, this is Salon, everything I plan to talk about, link down below. This week, Trump officially broke his promise. The White House admitted after being contacted by reporters from the Washington Post that there would be no attempts to provide free IVF. Again, that was predictable. It certainly was funny, however, seeing Andrew Schultz, the dude I was talking about, Andrew Schultz, the podcaster, who was bragging about how he got Trump elected until he realized, oh, Trump's a liar and he played you. He used you for your audience. Andrew Schultz, one of the know-nothing bro podcasters who helped push their low-information audience into voting for Trump, flipping out over this about-face. Schultz, who went through the IVF process with his wife, seemed genuinely flabbergasted the notoriously dishonest president had lied about this. Sadly, however, Schultz doesn't seem to have drawn the correct conclusion, which is that he should shut up about politics forever. Who wrote this Salon article? Because they use their words well. Amanda Marcotte. Amanda, this isn't the article, but it's somewhere. Sorry, I don't have a photo of it, but it's linked down below, so you should really take a read. Ray, you are as bad as aunt politician. I'm not as bad as your aunt's politician. Shut up. Fully Texan. Oh, fully Texan in the chat. Isn't your state right now doing everything they can to gerrymander so votes don't matter anymore? Shut up, fully Texan. Anti-American. chat. I feel sorry for these little boys who are jealous of your looks. It's hilarious. Oh, thank you, Kelly Quinn. Do not be jealous of my looks. There's much better looking people. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. There's much better looking people out there. Like Christy Nome. There's much better looking people. Where is he? Like that guy. That's who they're jealous of. They want to look like that. Let me tell you, you can. Lose some hair up top and then comb it all forward. Spray paint your face, but only to here. And then eat McDonald's every single day. And you can look too like that. Commie. A little bit. LOL, Commie. Thank you. Salute to you, comrade. Goes South Park. Well, I feel bad. That's why I also call myself a vibe coach. Because it's a lot of these Republican boys. They're not even men. They might be 30. Some of them are like 60. And they're boys. They listen to Andrew Schultz get played by the president to use his office. They listen to Theo Vaughn get played by J.D. Vance. How do you get played by J.D. Vance? They listen to Joe Rogan and eat his mushroom pills and elk pills and take cold baths, and they think that's what makes you a man. And they don't realize being a man is just about being compassionate. You want to talk to a lady? Make sure you listen too. You know, don't just talk. It's not about the car you drive, fellas. It's not about the elk meat, fellas. That's why I say I'm a vibe coach. Because there's too many young men out here saying stupid shit in the chat. Like, absolutely dumb. You know, they're simping for this guy. And they're worshiping these podcast bros like Andrew Schultz, who flipped out because Trump was like, I'm not doing IVF. That was a lie. You don't know I lie? He's like, there's decades of me lying. Decades. You don't know I lie? He's like, I just used you to get access to your audience. So you'd be like, wow, what a cool guy. He came on my podcast. I'm friends with the president. You know, like they're that dumb. Cowboy. Vibe coach? Yeah, bud. Cowboy. That comment, I get a little sense of like, I'm mad I didn't think of that. Because that's brilliant. You might not be old enough to remember when people were going around calling themselves life coaches. Tony Robbins, he's a coach of some sort, a grift coach. Him and Dean Graziosi. I have videos on my channel. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Why is my chat doing this? Sorry, I can't keep up with the chat. See, and that's what I mean. People come in here with no avatar, with a name like one letter J, saying beta male. Guys, I hate to break this to you. I don't give a shit. Beta, Skibbity, Rizma, Sigma, Donkey Kong, that shit don't faze me. It's like the Republicans. People say that every accusation is an admission. So when they're like, I drink liberal tears, really what they're saying is, if you said beta male to me, I would crumble. It's hilarious. Hold on. Got to ask the streamer an actual question. Okay, hold on. Think we're better off with the Harris administration right now? Stop talking about TDS. You know the guy that introduced the TDS is locked up for crimes against kids? Like, stop. The only derangement syndrome is you guys defending this dude at all costs. Yes, I think Kamala Harris wouldn't be heavily levying for everyone in the administration to, and again, I don't like her. I don't like the top cop. I think she promised cannabis legalization I don't know when, a long time ago. And it's like, just legalize cannabis, folks. It's a medicine. It helps children stop having seizures immediately. It's a medicine. So she's a liar too. Again, guys, I'm the radical woke that the Republicans warned you about. I don't subscribe to any of this shit, but she would be better. Because Donald Trump, even in their White House job application thing, they switched the job application to just say, will you support Donald Trump? That's what fascism is, so you guys know. All you guys who keep wondering what it is, it's not things you don't like, okay? That's not what it is. It's that this one guy said, only I can fix it. and everybody around him doesn't critique him, just like you guys in the comments. You guys won't even critique him. That's fascism, an authoritarian ruling, and then using the military and anything he needs to implement his rule. You understand, right? Kamala would not have made Elon Musk come into the government. And we talked about this last week. Go back and watch my old live streams, folks, because I'm not going to keep fucking having to spell this out for you, although some of you need it. That's why I'm a vibe coach. The report on Doge was that he cost us taxpayers $21 billion. 14.6 of that billion was spent on offering employees to stay at home and not work while still getting paid. Talk about efficiency, right, folks? Fraud and efficiency. Well, they rooted it out. He paid, and this was like in the news, and you guys were like applauding him as like the most efficient person in the government. Meanwhile, he's like, guys, if you're in the government, we need you out of the way. We don't want you roadblocking the president, so we'll pay you to just stay home and not work. 14 billion. There's a government report. You can easily look this shit up, folks. God, this is why I wonder if some of you can read or not, because it's like maybe you choose not to. I don't know. But yes, so long story short, Kamala wouldn't have wasted all that money. I don't think she would have passed the big heinous bill that gave corporations a permanent tax cut lower than you and I. You and I are usually paying around 22%. They're now paying 20%. Okay? And what did they raise the deficit? 5 trillion? You know what I mean? Like, guys, this is just fucking dumb that you're like, do you really think, like, if you want to play, this is why people like Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro does this whole hypothetical thing where nothing's real life for him, but he likes to play on your fears. Like, let's say, he says, let's say all the time. It's just, it's surreal, man. It's fucking surreal. I don't subscribe to this. I don't. So yes, Kamala would have been better. Like, that's a no fucking brainer. God damn. I'll tell you this, the two businesses I mentioned, Barabee and Diamond Select, who make Muppet figures, and Barabee does weighted blankets, they wouldn't have closed if Kamala was here. So, Lizard King, I do have solutions. We should plan a podcast to talk, or not a live stream to talk. Will Cherry, we subscribe to you. Do you have a Venom symbiote, Will? Because you said we. But thank you. I appreciate that. Please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. And Will, I need an answer. Do you have a Venom symbiote? I'm here to find out what a Trumpito is. Is that the name of Ghislaine? I'm not reading that. I assumed it was like a missile that he was going to fire. I don't know. I saw that on Reddit, and I don't know what it is. I assume it's some kind of underwater torpedo. But to each their own. I'm surprised how stupid the Dems are. The Dems are mindless. I call them Republican light. Okay? That's what I think of them. They're Republican light. They're basically Republicans, but they just say different things. Because they didn't, what is it, enshrine Roe v. Wade or whatever. Like, they don't do nothing unless they're forced to. They at least move when the people really put pressure on them, but I don't think they would move if we wanted universal health care. The Republicans, on the other hand, are just staunch, basically racist asshats. And they don't even, so that's the kind of difference between the lesser two evils. The Democrats, you put enough power on them and they fold like puppies. Do puppies fold? They fold like trapper keepers. But the Republicans just do what they want. That's why it's hilarious that like Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz had them on. We're like, and they had Trump on, right? He promised them a bunch of things. And now what do you hear Andrew Schultz saying? This isn't what I voted for. It's like, you dummy. He's never represented anybody. That's the difference. Republicans just do what they want. They don't care about their people. They don't care about kicking old people and kids off of healthcare. They don't care about the deficit. They've sold you the lie. They've propagandized you to think that you believe in family values and budgets, but they don't. They don't. The proof is in their actions, folks. I know Kamala refused to go on Joe Rogan. I don't think any politician should be going on Joe Rogan unless they're just going to talk about mushrooms and elk meat, you know? It's fucking dumb. Like, Joe Rogan is a moron. He is poisonous to young men and our communities. So if you're just joining, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Rob. I go live every single weekday. Sometimes I go live on the weekends. A little bonus for you. Rogan is an incel. You're right. Howard Stern any better? Howard Stern has changed over the years. I went on the air after Howard Stern. We literally were the show on that took his place when he went to XFM or X Sirius or whatever he went to. And I hated Howard. I thought he was a good interviewer. I'll say this. Listen, and this is the difference between me and MAGA. I could say I don't like Joe Rogan. I think he's stupid. I think he's a narcissist baby who pretends to just not know anything and be an average guy with $100 million. He's not an average guy. He is nothing like you. He hears about things in the world and thinks it's real. He has a producer and doesn't utilize him. You know what I mean? So he's a bad dude, but very talented. Extremely talented. Joe Rogan is one of the most talented interviewers there are. Howard Stern, I like him now. But back in the day, as much as I despised him, you could not deny how good he was at interviewing people. They had the knack, and that's what makes them so dangerous. They have the knack to normalize a guy like Trump, to make him seem like just a regular guy. Like, look at his interview with Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg was clearly either lying or didn't know or just trying to placate Joe or just trying to make Joe like him, talking about archery and bow and arrowing. And Joe just allowed it, and Joe made him feel even more comfortable. I mean, so these dudes are talented, but at the same time, they're so poisonous because they're normalizing these men that are just on there to get a PR wash. It's like a washing machine for them. And he goes on looking like Bruno fucking Mars and coming out, people thinking like he's some decent human. And we've gone over him and how he's buying up all of Kauai, the island on Hawaii. So that's the other reason why I say hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. So you can, this is kind of like one big story broken up into different days. Hold on. B-Doe. Love the insults on this channel, guys. You couldn't seem more lost. One of my friends is obsessed with Rogan, constantly points out his interviews with people from both sides. It's an act. It is an act. I say this, if you want to see who Joe Rogan really is, watch his Bill Burr interview where they're talking about wearing masks, because they're both from Massachusetts. And Joe Rogan is just a fragile little boy, right? Very sensitive man. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong. In fact, that's one of the things I like about him, and I think he should embrace that. Sometimes people grow really cold and they start to hate other people and they enjoy others suffering. And Joe isn't like that, but he's become that. And that's why I don't like him. I think he's totally redeemable. Joe, if you're watching, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I think you're totally redeemable, Joe. You used to have a heart, and that money got to you. I don't know if you're trying to impress the other billionaires, but none of them care about each other. They'll all try to put each other under, their companies under in a heartbeat. But if you want to see who Joe is, watch his Bill Burr episode. It was right around the pandemic, where Joe tries to bully Bill into saying oh yeah, masks are for wusses. And this you see in Massachusetts a lot. I grew up around this, so immediately I identified it. I was like, oh, you want to talk about alphas? You're going to see Bill Burr show Joe he's the alpha. Because Bill is like, don't look at me trying to pretend like you know something about wearing masks with smoking a cigar with the American flag behind you. And Bill called it perfectly. He said, this is just like rollerblades. He said, back in the 90s, everyone rollerbladed. And then one person made the joke that it was gay, and everybody stopped rollerblading. And that's, if you're confident, you don't care. You're like, oh, I'll still rollerblade. I don't care. Make the joke. Joe isn't. Because even when I was first listening to Joe during the beginning, he had on a Minnesota special virus dude who's very smart. And Joe even said with his own words, it makes sense. That's why doctors wear them, all this stuff. But something happened where Joe got bullied or felt threatened or feel like the media, the leftist media, which they're not left, they're corporate. The lamestream media is not left. NPR is not left. They're corporate. They are serving the wealthy. And people think it's like leftist ideas. And it's like mainstream media is not pushing for universal basic healthcare and universal basic income and pushing for paid parental leave and paid sick time without having to earn it. They're not pushing for that, folks. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with the chat. Buffy Buttons. I like that name. I like saying that name. Buffy Buttons. Fear is very unattractive. But everybody's scared of something. You know, you can't see, that's the difference. People think like you can't have fear. But like what I try to teach, well, never mind what I try to teach my kids. What I try to vibe coach people about is embrace your fear. Understand it. You ever talk to a fighter? Like when I used to go to this gym where there's all these pro fighters. They would tell you like, hell yeah, I get scared, but I embrace it, I recognize it, and I use it. You know, you'd be insane to think like, if you weren't scared, like then maybe it's some mental thing. But most people just embrace. A lot of the times, you know, just say out loud, this scares me so much. And you say it and you hear yourself say it, you recognize it, and then you can endure whatever's gonna happen. Little bit. I gotta put you in timeout for a day, because you saying, oh, thank you, CJ. I was trying to do it too. Much love to CJ and my mods. I'll admit, I'm afraid of possums. See, there we go, Buffy Buttons. I was scared to death of sneezes. It's the most foul thing. I don't know what God was thinking when he was like, I'm gonna have humans do this thing where it shoots out their nose at like 7,000 miles an hour. Like, oh, if a stranger sneezes around me, I can't help it. But after two, if they start to go for a third, I said, that's enough. That is enough. Like, take it outdoors. B-do. Julian, Joe talks about like liking having FU money because no one can threaten you with canceling your show. Well, see, that's what it is. He got FU money and now he just, you know, some people say getting that much money brings out who you truly are. So maybe Joe was faking it before when he was acting like a compassionate person. I don't know. But I'm mad. I wanted to talk about the IVF story. I really did, and I don't have it. We talked about Leguizamo. The other thing is Dean Cain. By the way, this is what ICE is posting on their Twitter, right? Look. So he doesn't hurt kids anymore. But at the same time, like this tweet. Like, I hope every reply in their Twitter, I didn't check it, is people saying, like, you want to protect kids? Then release the Epstein list, you know? Where is it? Hold on. Like, you can't be pretending that you care about protecting children. Release the files. And not those files. Not the PDF files. We just want the Epstein files. But my God. Couldn't believe it, man. Couldn't believe it. If you haven't seen South Park, go watch it. Go watch it. It is very good. So I don't know if you know, the other thing I want to bring up about Dean Cain, he apparently is like half Japanese. I don't know. So Dean has understood racism firsthand. And that's what makes people even worse. You know, like the worst people are people who get bullied and then they're like, I'm never dealing with that again. And they become the bully. Like, you are the worst of humanity because you know what it feels like to be bullied. And instead of trying to stop it, you wanted to become it so you could do it. And that's Dean Cain. He even talked about the new Superman being woke. And I want to play a clip of, where is it? Here, this is a clip from, what's it called? Lois and Clark. He was in like the Adventures of Lois and Clark Superman or something. And this is a clip from the show. Now, mind you, Dean Cain said this new Superman is woke, but his wasn't.
Superman, Emily Stevens with Immigration and Naturalization. We just need a quick look at your green card.
Green card.
You are an alien, are you not?
Superman, I'm afraid until we get this cleared up, I'm gonna have to ground you.
So in Dean Cain's thing, they wanted his green card and they called him an illegal alien. It's fascinating. Not American. How Trump got reelected. Well, Frederico, let's put on our tinfoil hats. My conspiracy theory is with all the threats to the Atlanta and Pennsylvania voting areas, and with Elon Musk helping, I think something was not right. I think let me put it like this for everybody outside America. In 2020, everyone said the elections were rigged. Everybody was saying that, right? They said it wasn't real. It wasn't real. The machines. And I'm saying that for 2024. And they should agree with me. Because how did they think that last election and then this one, not a peep? So I'm saying this election, it's everything Mike Lindell said. Check them. Mike Lindell, spend your fortune on checking the 2024 elections. I don't understand how that works. How the last election, everything was weird and suspect. And then this one, they were fine. I'm saying this one was not fine. So, and everybody who said it last one, you guys should be supporting me, right? Because that's your whole thing. Hold on, what is going on? Beto, then what do you want? The Amish all live as close community, help each other when you need it. No one is overly weather above others. Seems like that's what you're after. What is Beto saying? What? Beto. That rhymes with another thing. I'm not gonna say, but Beto. What's going on? Jelly much? Yeah, that's what Dean Cain's doing. He got a whiff of like fame because somebody called him to comment on the new Superman, and I think he was like, I need that again. It's like a drug. I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, I drank water today. I drank it in the form of iced peppermint tea. Thank you, Matt W. Have you drank water today? It's a good thing to recommend. Isn't it weird? Let me just say something. I was out at the store. I had to get water. I thought, what a society where we allow some people, like the Nestle CEO, to sell, I don't buy their water, by the way, but to sell us the thing that sustains life to us. And us as humans are just like content with that. I'm not. And if you're not, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I go live every weekday. We're building a huge family, a huge community. I want people to join the conversation, even if we disagree, and I'm gonna plant the seed in your brain. I'm gonna plant the little seed in your brain because you can't unhear it. Next time you go to the store and you go down the water aisle, you're gonna be like, damn, no one should own that. No one should own that water, you know? Maybe like farmers or a community or, you know, at large, your neighborhood, your city, but no person should own the water and sell it back to us. I've always joked that we're gonna have the water wars soon. And Nestle is going to build its own army and have its own military, and Nestle is going to send its own military in to confiscate all the water, and that's how, you know, things end. And I've been saying that for a long time. I've always made that joke, and sadly, it's coming to fruition more and more every day. Communal society, 100%. Go Bill Burr, WOC. Yeah. Bill Burr's been saying a lot of things I say, but we're both from the same state. So it's not, says a socialist. Yep, thank you. If you're scared of socialism, you're scared of yourself. I have a link down below. You should watch Gary's Economics and Fred Hampton Jr. of the Black Panther Cubs. Like Fred Hampton used to say, if you're scared of socialism, you're scared of yourself. Socialism is social power, unions and such. You should look these things up before you get scared of them, you know? It's just like when I was little. I was scared of the Chucky doll. Remember that movie, Child's Play? Oh, and then I asked this one dude, I was like, at camp, you scared of Chucky? He was like, you ever seen that doll in real life? I said, no. He said, it's tiny. I booted across the thing. And once I realized, like, oh yeah, that doll's little. You know, once you figure out what the boogeyman is, you realize you're not that scared of it. Look up these words, folks. This isn't the 90s where I had to walk to the library and go look up the dictionary or Encyclopedia Britannica. Like, you got it in the palm of your hand. Austin, the one and only, like the name. I'm an anarcho-communist. Much love to our socialist brethren. Power to the people. Power to you. Solidarity. This is what we need. We need more minds coming together. Austin, I hope you hit subscribe and the notification bell. Oh my God, that movie was terrifying. LLS, so terrifying. And if you were a child in the 80s and you came home on a weekend night and they were playing that movie as one of the horror movies for free and you just watched it because we had like 5 channels, those are scary nights. Chris Grandietti says, I ain't paying for that. Unfortunately, your taxes don't pay for anything you do right now. You know, I love when people say this argument, I'm not paying for it. My taxes should go to that. You just want your taxes to build bombs and prisons. Like I was just talking about this. Link down below. Everything I plan to talk about. This is a $1.2 billion prison that you're paying for. I'd rather have it for our water and healthcare. But, you know, we got to wake some people up. That's all. You don't keep your money. In fact, you're taxed more. You can thank Trump for that. It's just dumb arguments. Dumb argument after dumb argument. He's like, I just don't want to pay taxes. Okay, whatever. Socialism, take a look at Cuba. Works great there. Giggity, giggity. Again, showing off how fucking dumb you are. Cuba has had an embargo. Basically, they can't do anything with all of the world because of the United States, but they've had an amazing, amazing healthcare system and education system, so much so that Americans go to Cuba, I follow one on Twitter, to become doctors. Cuba has a vaccine for lung cancer. Think what they could do without that. But you know what? You need to read a book. It's called Shock Doctrine, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism. I don't know if you can read or not, but you should read a book because they detail how America has gone to sabotage every socialist effort throughout the world. Because once it works, like I said, once the seed's planted, you can't unsee it. That tree of compassion, that tree of anarcho-communism, socialist, Marxist tendencies starts to grow, and you go, well, if they can have it, why can't we? But you like living in a little box and just being told what to do. That's why the fascisms have risen, because people like that structural system. They like a big, strong, skibbity, riz alpha male in charge telling them what to do, as long as they're not going to be affected. Get the fuck out of here. Why do Cubans not agree with you? What Cubans? Giggity, giggity. This is another, I love it. You guys are like fucking a broken record. All MAGA does this. Then why are you here if it works great there? Well, because I don't know if you know about America, but we know who you were when the civil rights were happening and black people were struggling to vote and have not separate but equal but integrated things. You were the one going, why don't you go to another country where they don't have this? This is how it is here. You were that racist asshole back 50, 60, 70 years ago. And the reason America has become what it has become is because people like my great uncle John Brown fought for a better nation. That was the whole thing about America. Again, your little fascism worldview just wants you limited, and you forget that the politicians are actually public servants. They work for us. I'm the president's boss. You're the president's boss. He don't fucking tell me what to do. We tell them what to do. That's why they have campaigns and elections and all this shit, because they want this facade of like, your vote matters. Well, it matters right now. Again, then they go to work for their real donors, the corporate donors. But when they need the votes, and how the system was set up is they're supposed to work for us. So what that means is that we, as a nation, have the ability to change things. So that's why I'm here. And I'm going to do a live stream every single weekday. So hit subscribe, giggity, giggity. Keep asking those dumb fucking questions that MAGA asks every single day, like clockwork. My God, I should just have a little, I'm going to have to type up a page, because all these questions are the same from MAGA. Why don't you go there then? You know, if it works so well. We should go through the Shock Doctrine book, because Naomi Klein wrote that book to, you know, spell it out for you guys. Carol O'Neill, it's important that I stay neutral. I'm just speaking it as I see. Who's Carol? Moderator, or so what? Means nothing. Don't give yourself so credit for a moderator. Actually, that's pretty funny. What? John Brown is ashamed of you? No. Do you know who John Brown is, Jeff M? These people are so dumb. It hurts me, but again, gotta plant the seeds. Gotta plant the seeds. Here's another one. I love this. James W., welcome to the chat. Hit subscribe and notification bell. You need a vibe coach. This guy lives in his mom's basement. Who cares? My mom's been dead for decades, but who cares? Who cares if people live in their parents' basement, live with their parents? Have you not read The Room here in America lately? There's a housing crisis. People are worried about the price of eggs. Inflation's killing businesses, small businesses, that is. Are you not reading the room? I'm trying to teach you maggots what, the Rand Pauls and the Andrew Schultz and the Charlie Kirks have infiltrated your main brain with. You think so simply, like, oh, if he lives in his mom's basement, he's a loser. Who cares? I don't care. If you live in your mom's basement, if you're a janitor, I don't give a shit. That's not how I judge you. I judge you by how you act. So another important lesson for people. If you start saying this guy lives in his mom's basement, you know what? There's a lot of good people right now that can't afford housing. Doesn't make them less good people, but that's what your comment says. I need people to understand when they fucking open their mouth what they sound like. Because I'm afraid too many people around you just don't say anything. And those aren't good friends, by the way. A good friend will say, yo, you're out of line. Like, what are you trying to say with that? Unless you're breaking balls and you're really just trying to have fun, which I get. But a lot of these trolls come in here thinking it's some kind of slam dunk. And I'm just telling you, even if I did, if my mom didn't die decades ago when I was very young, who cares? That has nothing to do with Donald Trump willing to spend $1.2 billion of your tax money on a prison instead of feeding the 1 in 5 kids who go food insecure in America every night. I love this. You guys can attack me all you want, but remember, fuck your feelings. I subscribe to that. You guys had a good motto at that point. Who cares? I like to look at what's actually going on. They're building more prisons instead of helping out the price of eggs, instead of helping out with food prices, instead of helping out with housing prices, instead of helping small businesses, instead of helping workers. They're just building prisons. $billion prisons. Plans to build the nation's biggest. That's what you support. And the other thing you support, just so you know, I want to be very clear on this one. This is what you support. You support him releasing these files instead of these files. Remember, DJT, you'll see the initials, DJT. That stands for Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Trump. So, Dimitri, if you have something to say it kindly, and then people will listen. Dimitri, here's a lesson for you if you're young. Racists and hateful people, they don't want to listen. And I act accordingly, okay? So, because I heard this the other day too. Wow, you're pretty mean. And it's like, yeah, I'd be mean to Hitler too, okay? You understand, like, these people are being heinous in our communities. They're supporting a guy who's protecting Ghislaine Maxwell and wishing her well and bringing her to Camp Fed and breaking rules to get her to an easier prison. And you're saying, like, speak nicer? Get the fuck out of here. And again, folks, you can scroll on by. If you need a safe space, if me, calling out these people who say stuff like, remember what my little tirade started on? He said, this guy from his mom's basement. I had to teach him that doesn't value people less as a human. And then Dimitri's like, you come off like a jerk. Oh, Dimitri, I hope you're in the comments chirping at all these people who are saying, like, mom's basement, go to Cuba, all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I need you to read the room too. Again, folks, this is why I'm officially your vibe coach, because most of you are fucking tone deaf. Okay, bye-bye. I like that you said bye-bye. That's adorable. Bye-bye. Yeah, get out of here. Listen, my channel is not for everybody. If you're in for making America a better place, which means guaranteed sick time, don't have to earn it, one job, and you can afford a house, no medical debt, no student loans, but you could get a higher education. If you're all for Amazon, Tesla, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos paying higher taxes, a higher tax rate than you, hit subscribe. If you want to simp for the status quo and things progressively getting worse, you're going to need a safe space from this live stream. Okay? I need to be very clear. Because all these people that masquerade around as tough guys, but then as soon as you say, release the Epstein files, Trump, Stop wishing Ghislaine Maxwell well. You know, let people critique you. We can dissent. That's part of America. You know, we were the ones who threw the tea off the Boston Harbor. You guys are the ones who are saying you shouldn't be destroying property. Like, you're going to need a safe space from this live stream. And I'm okay with that. But for those of you who, you know, might need to understand more or just want to joke about the news or have some fun or want to progress this nation into a better way where freedom means the freedom to read any book, love anyone, marry anyone, freedom to take vacations paid for by your employer, then God bless you. And let's keep pushing for it better. I'm missing something. I'm going to make hats that say America worse. People, you got to do it slick. You got to do it slick. James Lally, wish in one hand, fart in the other. See which one comes true first. It's not that, James. It's see which one fills up first. That's what it's supposed to be. But again, James, I addressed this earlier. You can sit and do nothing. I refuse to. I'm going to keep speaking to people. I'm going to keep reaching out to people. We're building a community, a family here, and I'm not going to just sit quietly. We know what would have happened if you were in the 30s in Germany. You would have said, guys, just be quiet. Just fart in one hand and wish in the other and see which one happens first. And my grandfather, who fought them Nazis, was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take some action. I'm going to speak out against this. I'm going to go do something about it. So... LLS, exactly, Jeff. They try to keep us mad at each other instead of the root problem, the real root of the problem, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I highlight in the news. That's what we joke about. That these people that thought they were fighting the deep state are now defending the guy who's defending the deep state that's allowing, you know, this mockery of the government with Ghislaine Maxwell and turning the Department of Homeland Security into this. You know, this is South Park saying it. And this is Kristi Noem and them. Like, this is a joke. This is not a serious government, okay? They can't say we're going to protect, no more kids are going to get hurt. But then, you know, move Ghislaine Maxwell to Club Fed, breaking rules to get her into that Club Fed prison. It's just sad. The frog. South Park said it. You can have strong social programs and regulate the worst aspects of capitalism, still live in a free democracy. I love people that are like against strong social programs because the word welfare can be used. It's like when the fire department shows up, are you like, get out of here, socialists, get out of here. Can't drain the swamp by filling it with sewage. Blow it up, cat. That was a good one. String new line. If you like a fair wage, socialist. Well, you know what? One Republican guy said this a long time ago, like 10 years ago. He said, what they brainstorm, what their great minds do is they take words like woke socialists and they turn them toxic. He said, like, we turn words toxic. So socialism just means everything you don't like. Woke means everything you don't like. Even though the people who claim there was a deep state and they needed to drain the swamp, technically, that's part of being woke, is understanding the government's structured to, you know, be against you and protect the elites. So it's hilarious, you know, that they'll just say stuff when a living wage used to be, I mean, a long time ago, but it used to be something that Americans had. You know, the baby boomers definitely had it. There was like a sliver of America where like you could just be a mailman, buy a house, raise a family, wife stay at home, and you could go on many vacations. And somehow now people are like, you got to work more jobs or work harder. It's like, do you understand that CEOs used to get paid like 20, 30 to 1, like 25 to 1. And now the Starbucks CEO makes 6,666 times more the average employee. Starbucks CEO worked 4 months last year and got paid more than Microsoft, Google, Amazon CEO. I mean, it's out of control. And that's the one thing that's really changed. And people aren't seeing that. Is Chief here? Chief's here. Oh, yeah. Trump is a PDF file. Chief is here. Good to see you, Chief. I'm glad you can make it. Salute to you. Salute. Ill Will. Y'all got some real clowns in the chat now. Ah, there's always clowns. Always clowns. Always. Yeah, Sean, somehow it's a flex to work 70 hours a week. Well, there was some dude on social media who was bragging about a 100-hour work week. And my comment was like, your kids must hate you, you know? Like, must hate you. We need to, it's so weird to me that the family that claims they're of family values doesn't want to fight for workers to have paid time off, paid parental leave, not earn sick time. Like, the companies that are making record profits should be paying for your vacations, your paid time off, so you can have that time with children and your kids and your family. But somehow the family of party, the party of family values doesn't believe in that. They strip workers of their rights all the time. Just go look. Ben Shapiro's paid for by fracking brothers. Charlie Kirk, Koch brother. You know, like they're all paid for by these billionaires who have convinced family values means spending less time with your family and working more, which it's a huge issue. Kate, oh, don't forget about that 5K Doge check we were supposed to get. Yeah, anybody get your Doge check? I got mine. I bought a huge TV. I bought a TV that fills up half of my house. How's everybody's Doge check? Everybody get it? All the MAGAs? Where are the MAGAs? Wait. HS? CJ, can you mute HS for a day? There's no hatred, anti-Semitism, racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, none of that in the chat. So CJ, get HS out of here. Hold on, I could do it. Come back tomorrow, try again. I like to give everybody a chance. Jim, before I read your comment, how's your Doge check? How's your 5,000? It's so funny that these MAGAs like to chirp all they do, but when I ask them, like, how's your Doge check? What'd you spend it on? Nobody answers. Interesting. What Doge check? Is it just for Trump Republicans? No, you don't remember? Elon said he found so much fraud and waste, although there were no charges of fraud. That's a criminal thing. And he wasted $14.6 billion paying government employees to stay home. He also promised a $5,000 rebate check to everybody, a check for all the money he found and saved. So how's everybody spending it? Lizard King got his, good. Chief is in here too. Oh, sorry, CJ. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry. I already got him out. My apologies. And by the way, much love to my mods. I want to take a minute to just say my mods, you guys are awesome. CJ, Chief, there's Maury out there, but I was thinking about you guys the other day. Also, we have a Discord, and same rules go on the Discord. We're about to ban someone out of there. But yeah, just want to take a minute because CJ, Chief, all the mods, I appreciate you guys. You guys are rad. Just want to say thank you. UBI is coming very soon, hopefully. Jeff, that brings me to another point. When people say, oh, you want robots to take all your jobs? Yes, I want to walk into a store and have CP3O do every fucking job there is. And we can create art and music and songs and literature and plays and movies and cartoons. And we get UBI and let the robots do all the work. Okay? Planted the seed. Now you have to try to unhear that. Maudine, if that's how you pronounce it, hopefully. My apologies if not. Not me nor anyone else have received the Doge check. Maudine, that's because we're being sarcastic. Just so you know. We're making fun of the fact that all these maggots were so excited. Elon found all this fraud with no charges. When you find fraud, you charge them for fraud. If they're frauding the taxpayers, you would charge them with it, but it didn't exist. And in fact, Elon created a lot of fraud and waste by paying employees to just not go to work. Efficiency, all in the name of efficiency. But Modine, we say that from time to time on this channel because we were supposed to get checks. Elon said everyone's going to get a $5,000 check because they saved so much money. And it's, again, proof that these people are liars. They'll tell you anything. You guys buy it, and all. Somebody was just in here the other day in the chat saying, "I can't wait to get my $5,000 rebate check from Trump because Trump's saying the tariffs are going to give you rebate checks." And I've said, "How about just don't do the tariffs because they're raising prices and putting businesses out of business." And people were in the chat saying, "Oh, Trump's going to give us rebate checks." And somebody brought up, "How's your Doge check going? How's that Doge check?" So, Modine, just so you're aware, a lot of the stuff we say is sarcastically done. We're joking. So that's why we always like to say, like, hey, I got my Doge check. Where's yours? And then it's amazing. You'll see MAGA in the chat. They're constantly coming at me. "What are you, in your mom's basement? Why don't you go work a real job? Trump is king. He's the GOAT. Da da da." They never say anything of content, of good content. But that chat gets real quiet. Like, that's all we got to do. That's what I'll do next time to clear out the chat. It's like a palate cleanser. All I got to do next time is just say, "How's everybody spending their Doge check?" MAGA shuts them up real quick. Oh, some people don't know their history, and then, that's why I'm a vibe coach, man. I ain't your teacher, but I'm a vibe coach. You should do so. There's easy reading, I was going to make videos on this stuff too. I was starting a kids series because, the Koch brothers started their series to infiltrate the kids. I forget what it's called, but it's horrendous. The YouTubers have done it. And I wanted to start a series, which I have on YouTube, for kids to point out the important aspects of things. Gold diggers. Some people just lie on their podcast. Are you referencing Joe Rogan? Because you're right. String New Line, thank you for addressing him. I'm not gonna. Controlled opposition is Joe Rogan, Jeff. Yeah, he's clearly, as they like to say, part of the deep state now. But he's just, I think what happened is something happened to his ego. He's got a very fragile ego. And he got enough money where he's like, F this, and something happens when some of these people get enough money. They put themselves in a bubble. They give themselves a safe space so nobody critiques, or that's why you'll see people make headlines when they're like, someone pushed back on Joe Rogan because it's such an anomaly. And they create a bubble for themselves. So then when they hear whacked out stories of eating the dogs and stuff, or whatever it is, that the streets are overrun or whatever, they just believe it because they don't live in reality anymore. Oh, Timothy's here. Timothy, what's up? Salute to Timothy. But again, if you're wondering about socialism and why the United States has done everything, including use the CIA, to make sure it never takes hold anywhere in the world, Shock Doctrine. I got the book upstairs. I would have brought it down here. The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein. It's called Shock Doctrine, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism. And it details a lot of this stuff. It's history, folks. I encourage you to read it. It's a fun read because it's so insane, and it's so crazy to think how much the U.S. has meddled in so many foreign, especially the Southern Cone and Southern America, and it's a good book. Again, in the Discord, link down below, we have a book club, YouTube recommendations. Dear Trump supporters, if he is implemented in Epstein case, you're going to vote for him. Timothy, I don't know if you were here yesterday or the day before where I talked about it, said something over 50% of Republicans would still stand by him in the polling, which I thought, of course they would, because they don't care. This isn't about protecting kids. It isn't about protecting victims, because if they cared about that, you would not need the Epstein files. The victims are out here speaking out. The women have been saying stuff about Trump. Trump has 28 accusers. If they cared about protecting them, they would believe them. They wouldn't go after them and attack them sometimes. But it's not about that. It's about their agenda. Their agenda. That's what they care. And they use the Epstein files as like this this, I don't even know, like Pandora's box that they thought once they opened it up, all would be exposed except for Trump, the guy with more photos and videos of him and Jeff than I have with my own grandmother. You know, they somehow thought like all those videos mean nothing. I can't even figure like the mental gymnastics these people do. String New Line, I'm in Canada. Where are you in Canada? Are you anywhere in the Pacific Northwest? Are you on the East Coast? I love Montreal. Never been to Saskatchewan, but I want to go. That's where my buddy who passed away was from. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're new here. We need a Labor Party, yes. 47% and the 53%. AB, I don't know if you read the same thing I did, but I'm telling you it was over 50%. Pubs support Trump if in files. Oh yeah, this was the 47%. You're right. This was, I had the pictures up here too. The poll shows 47%. I think I still have the photos. Hold on one second so I can bring it up for you. Hold on. I hope it, yeah, here it is. My apologies. But my point on this is 47%, over 50%, it does not matter. This is our culture being normalized to support a guy implicated in the most heinous crimes and the largest trafficking ring in the history of humanity. So this is what I need people to, like, whoever pointed it out, number one, thank you, because I forgot what it was. AB, I think, used it as a gotcha because they said lying. And it's like, no, AB, you're missing the point here. That Republicans so don't care about victims, protecting kids, families, putting criminals on the street, America. They don't care about none of that. So much so that almost 1 in 2 of them would be like, oh, if he was implicated, who cares? That's my guy. These are PDF files. Do you understand that, AB? Like, this is what's bewildering to me. Some people read that and they're like, oh, good, 53% won't, like AB said. I'm like, none of this is good. This should be 100% do not support. This isn't like one of those things where it's like, there's a gray area. This is one of those things where it's like, no, you're fucking tapped. Something's wrong with you. Because they would do it too, Kate. Well, there you go. It's normalized, that culture, yes. And that's what I try to point out to people, okay? That it's become so normalized in America that we're getting polls like this, where Snopes is fact-checking it, because I'm sure some people are like, that can't be true. Nobody's going to support this guy if he's implicated in the Epstein files. Like, there's no way. And here we are. This is like, that's what I'm trying to point out to people, that this is so not normal, and it's become normalized. And that's what the lamestream media don't talk. They would say something like, oh, found out 47%, 1 or 2 Republicans are still support Trump even if implicated. And not leading the headline with, this is nuts. People are still going to protect these predators, even if implicated. Like, this isn't normal. This is not how America should be. We should be pitchforks and fucking torches at these people's houses. Like, this is insane. Ill will, and some people are legitimately waking up and still stuck. But most still are stuck in the loop, and that's why I'm here. I do a live stream every single weekday. Hit subscribe, hit the notification. We joke about the news because it is a joke. Like, this is remember I told you at the beginning of the live stream, I made up a word, sad-larious. It's sad, but it's hilarious. Sad-larious. Come on, Webster's Merriam, put me in the dictionary. Sad-larious. You heard it here first. If you hear any of those big YouTubers grifting my word. I'm just kidding. But this is one of those things that's sad-larious. Like, it's hilarious to believe that there's 1 in 2 Republicans that are like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, well, what happened to your whole thing about, like, family values? This is anti-family values. And they're just like, no. We make fun of the news while quoting the news. Giggity, giggity. With a name like that, you'd figure that you could understand how satire and comedy works. I thought Elon made comedy legal. Can't you joke? Oh God, some of these people are so, their buttholes are so tight. They're always puckered. What else are we gonna do? Go be a journalist? No, the journalists are jokes. You know, they let Trump say stuff and they do no pushback when he was like, you know, I pointed it out. Go watch my old live streams. I'm not doing it again. Ugh. These people are exhausting. And sometimes you just can't engage with them. But I'm here for the people who have common sense, would never, ever, ever support a dude who could be implicated. Wouldn't support a dude who flew on his plane a bunch of times. Wouldn't support a dude that was dancing, whispering wonderful secrets in his ear on video, and then saying, quoted in magazines about him. Like, I'm talking to the people who maybe the seed was planted and they're waking up. If you are, keep coming back, because we're going to dispel the myth that the Democrats or the Republicans work for you. They just want your vote. That's the one time Donald Trump was honest. He's honest like very, very rarely. At one time he was, is when he said, I don't like you, I just need your vote. You got to give it to him, because the Democrats won't tell you that. And that's their whole platform too. Because remember, folks, right now we have all red government. All red and all blue. Take the hats off. This is not the Super Bowl. Take the hats off. Because even if we got all blue government, you think you're getting paid parental leave like the rest of the world? You think you're getting universal health care like the rest of the world? Ain't happening. I'm trying to donate, but for some reason not letting me donate a message that says fascist. Oh, too bad. Good. YouTube's working. Awesome. Yeah, try to type in a different word. But I will need that word. We need an all Luigi government. Aaron, now you're on to something. We need to discuss that. There was Luigi news this week. The government is giving him a computer to work on his case. Some of these comments, you guys are just so hate-filled. You need to go read some of Jesus' stuff where he said, love your enemy. You need to read when Jesus took care of the poor and the hungry and didn't charge a copay for healing the homeless. Healing the hurt. Oh, man. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you work or not. Everyone deserves help. Like, do you hear those words? It's so shocking to me. You shouldn't have to work to be healthy. This is America. I'm so disappointed in you. This is so sad that there are people out there that think, you should have to work to not go in medical debt if you break your leg or need a surgery, or if you're disabled or have a mental condition. That is the most disgusting take. In fact, who said that? I think it was this dude. That's just hateful. Try again in 24 hours, Samuel Smith. Because there are some people that can't work, able-bodied or not. There are a lot of old people over the retirement age that I talk to when I'm shopping, and they're working because they can't afford their health care, some form of it, prescription, something. That is so hateful. I hope you understand that. I hope you don't act like, when you're in public, act accordingly. We know you do. People come out online, spew all this hate. We got a hate epidemic. Oh. Song Sword, 87. I would gladly pay more in taxes for healthcare and education. I would too. But here's the bigger point. I would just gladly not have my taxes go to bombing other countries' wars, the military-industrial complex, and just use it for our healthcare. I would not want my taxes going to this. 1.2 billion. A new prison, 1.2 billion. Just give us healthcare. Stop spending all this money on prisons and just give us healthcare. But I would also gladly accept a receipt from the government on what they're spending my taxes on. But Songsword, thank you, because yes, I would pay more too. Sorrow626, the super chat. Hey man, you're doing good work. Not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm independent. Salute to you. And a populist. I don't like Nazis. I can't believe, Sorrow, just to comment on that, and thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. I can't believe this country fought a war, World War II. Give me one second, I'll show you something. Now listen, I know Dean Cain had this in his background of his video, if you've seen the actual video. I don't display this shit because I don't like to use it as a prop. But you know, my grandfather, if you know how you get one of these, if anybody else has military in their family, you know how you get one of these, okay? My grandfather served and died, served this country, fighting Nazis, and somehow people are that here in America, they are foreign enemies. You know what I mean? Like, I do not, Sorrow 626, I do not understand. Like, this is why he has the WWE lady in charge of the Department of Education. This is why they'll never fund higher education. This is why our taxes won't help pay for our higher education. This is why they gatekeep higher education, because they don't want you to remember that there are people's family who fought and served to fight Nazis. I don't use that as a prop, but I wanted to make a point. Sorry, but you know, like, I look at that, I have a painting of my grandfather right here. Like, he fucking served to fight these assholes. So, Sorrow 626, thank you. And it's just, it's surreal to me that we have new Nazis in this country. Like, I wish my grandfather was still alive, because I would drive him to go heckle the shit out of these people. Just like people who waved the Confederate flag. Those were foreign enemies. That was a separate country. They think it's American history, and the only history it has to do with America is that they were a foreign combatant. But I absolutely despise, if you watch Dean Cain's video, I have a link to the story. I think it brings you to the video. But if you watch his video, he has one of those flags. It doesn't look, it looks a little bit small, but again, I don't know. I'm not saying anything about it, but he has one of those flags in his background, like, that justifies his actions. You know what I mean? Yeah, Sorrow donated. Solidarity, you Sorrow. Thank you for the super chat. That was huge. People are so concerned about paying a diamond tax, they don't care how much it hurts them. Yeah, that's the thing that people don't realize when they say stuff about, I don't want to pay for somebody else's healthcare. It's like, you idiot. The taxes will pay for your, it's like they will do anything to hurt themselves. Antifa for life. Hold on, I gotta heart that one. That is awesome. Thank you again for the super chat, Sorrow. And Sorrow, it's incredible to me, to the people, you'll see them in my chat sometimes. They come in here and they say, oh, what are you, Antifa? And I'm like, if you're American, you're Antifa. Every soldier, well, nowadays, but every soldier that fought in World War II, Antifa. That's what, remember when I was saying Antifa for life? That should be, Sorrow, we got to get that on a hat. We got to, Solus isn't here. You know what we're going to do on the Discord? Sorrow, thank you for this idea. On the Discord, we got to have a quotes from the chat. I got to talk to Solus. We got to have a thing, quotes from the chat, on our Discord, where we can do stuff like Sorrow's Antifa for life. And if we can make merch, I would love to figure out how you guys could get money for that merch, because some of you guys come up with some brilliant shit like that. Antifa for life, Sorrow 626 with the $5 super chat. That is absolutely amazing. And this is why, again, I talked about that Republican who they devised the plan to make words toxic. So Antifa, to some of these morons, just means stuff that I don't like. They're anti-American. And they don't realize, like, Antifa is anti-fascists. You're against fascism. Some of these people don't even know what fascism is. And everybody who fought in the American military in World War II was Antifa. So thank you. Thank you, Sorrow 626. That's a great tagline. We got to, CJ, well, I'll see you in the Discord later, hopefully. We got to do a quotes from the chat thing in the Discord. And CJ says, I would love to pay for other people to have healthcare. Me too. Like, I would feel fucking awesome knowing that people weren't going into debt, that little kids that need a wheelchair got it. Yeah, my Discord link down below. Timothy, Fear Fascism 2028. This is what I mean. Some of you guys have, CJ, you have one about the 80s and drugs, and I gotta go into old quotes or old videos to find it, because CJ, we have to put that on a t-shirt. I was thinking about this yesterday because I was like, my mods are so rad, and sometimes the chat just has such amazing one-liners that we have to, once this channel blows up big enough, hit subscribe and notification bell. Like, you know how Mr. Beast did his whole t-shirt thing and he got in trouble for it because he was signing them or I don't know. I want to figure a way that we can have t-shirts, you know, with dash CJ at the bottom, dash Timothy, dash Sorrow 626, and get you guys in on it. You know, that's real social power. You want to call me a socialist? That's socialism right there. Like, yo, we share the wealth here. Fuck it. I want to see everybody do good, you know? I'll figure that out. Trust me, once we get this channel big enough, we're going to figure it out. Because I want everybody coming up. Consumer spending is 70% of the economy. Pay us more. It's so funny. You see the headlines about Vegas, and they're blaming the younger kids for Vegas failing right now. It's like, just pay us more. And then we have the extra money to gamble. If you can't buy eggs, you ain't gambling, son. And thumbnails. Oh, you know what? I was thinking about thumbnails the other day, Timothy. I don't know if anybody does thumbnails, but I have my thumbnail that I create, but I want to do a way to put stuff inside of it. But again, join the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you got ideas, you have thoughts for the channel you want to do. At this point, I think I can have members, and I'm going to start doing monthly private live streams with just the members only. So I tried to make the members, I think it's 99 cents to join. I want to keep this shit cheap. On the second tier, which is a little different, I think it's $7.99. But I finally got memberships, and I want to do something where we can, you know, do cool stuff together. Jeff Tenbrink, how about you work harder? You might get what you're worth. Oh, you're adorable, Jeff. You think hard work is how Elon Musk got a 29-point-something billion pay package from Tesla while he wasn't even the CEO? Or while he was the CEO, but he wasn't even working there? Stop peddling the myth of hard work, okay? I've been alive too long in a capitalist society to fucking fall for that one. In fact, that's what I try to teach kids. There used to be a saying when I was growing up, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that was like a kind of joke, but not really. And now it's all that, you know? Jeff does need a hug. And we're here for you, Jeff. I'm your official vibe coach on YouTube. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you guys like taro tea, this taro tea is amazing. Taro. That flavor reminds me of, you guys ever know, what was the mummy cereal? The ghost cereal, the blue one. Blueberry. Blueberry cereal. When the milk would turn blue and you drink it, it tastes like blueberries. That's what taro reminds me of. Julian, economic uncertainty makes people put off big purchases like F-150, which also soon cost $5,000 more due to steel and parts tariffs. That's right. And Julian, whenever you see those headlines about Vegas and them trying, the lame mainstream media trying to push it on a generation to blame them, remember that economic uncertainty is why small businesses close, why hiring freezes, why job numbers go down, and why people don't spend money. It's amazing that the common sense just leaves people. By the way, thank you for joining, Julian. It's good to see you again. All right. Timothy, CJ, Sorrow 626. Thank you so much for the super chats. You are the third person to super chat me. I'm humbled and honored, and I appreciate you. And we need to save that. I got to go to the Discord so I can throw Antifa for life. Sorrow 626 in there. I'm going to wrap this one up. But much love to you guys. I could figure where you were at, Rob. Yes, but you can write off your brand new jet on taxes. That's right, Timothy. So for all you going to work in a private jet, like the CEO of Starbucks, that's a tax. That's something you can write off on your taxes. Oh, yeah, we gotta make Matelot Medic, Make America Great Britain Again. Thank you. That's the other one. Were you the one who came up with that? We got it. Please, after the video, leave them in the comments, guys. We have to, mental note, make America Great Britain again, Antifa for life. We have to do this. And like Timothy said, have a beautiful day wherever you are, whatever season it is. I know in Australia it's winter. God bless you. God love you. God hold you. Be kind to people, man. Be kind and think outside the box. That's what we're trying to do here. You know, when they tell you something, question it. Question everything. All right? Much love, SAR626, thank you. Much love to you. And come back, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I go live every single weekday, and sometimes on the weekends. You don't know unless you hit that notification bell. Maybe tomorrow. All right, guys, CJ, Chief, good to see you. I'm glad you were here. Thank you for the work. Thank you for modding. All right, guys, peace, much love.